Chapter 20, Department of Veterans Affairs. Hi, I'm Nikki Porcher, founder of Buy From a Black Woman, and I am going through all of Project 2025. All of Project 2025. Today we are talking Chapter 20, Departments of Veterans Affairs. Now, Brooks D. Tucker is the author of this chapter, and this is one of the shorter chapters in this project. And one thing that I do like is that they provide short bios of every author in true narcissistic, egotistical. He's Marine. He used to be a lieutenant colonel. He was a chief of staff. Oh, I'm sorry, acting chief of staff. He of Trump's transitional team, and he served as a senior policy advisor for national security and veterans affairs to Senator Richard Burr. He also been in war and da 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 da. At the end of the day, he's still a white man. Now, this is one of the shorter chapters, as I mentioned, in the Project 2025. And a lot of it was just really talking about what was wrong with the VA, like what's wrong with the VA. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, every time I go to the VA, I tweet about it. I tag them because it is a terrible, horrible process as a veteran. I fought for this country, I went to war, and I have to fight for basic health care, which makes no sense. And I will give these Project 2025 people credit because they understand that. It can't fool me. They want to make this look so appealing because they want people to join the armed forces. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, Nikki, you got an Air Force shirt on, but we chose to be in the military. It's one thing when you make the choice to do something versus somebody forcing you to do something. So into their introduction, before they talk about what they're going to reform, they discuss how VA disability, the GI Bill, and the VA loan are the three biggest parts of Department of Veterans and the benefits. And for those of you who know history, when Black people came back from World War II, they were promised a GI Bill and also VA loan, but they were discriminated towards. If our ancestors were able to get homes after they came back from fighting a war for a country who does not like them, Black people would be so much ahead. Another thing they talk about is the Mission Act. Now, the Mission Act is a part of the VA healthcare system where when the VA is overwhelmed, you can go ahead and select for community care. And community care is when you go out to the community for care, basically. You can go and get an outside physician because the VA does not have enough physicians. What I did not know was that came under Trump's administration. Ironically, I've used community care before. So it's just like one of those things like, but okay. So after all that, they get into how they are going to reform. And the first two things they mention is abortion and gender reassignment surgery. Now, when it comes to abortion services, they wouldn't get rid of that because they're saying it's not service connected. But I'm the first one to tell you, most of the people who really need abortions are women who are in the military. Rape is such a high, not talked about, happens all the time thing that happens in the military. And the stories I hear from women that happen to them by active duty military service members, but if they let abortion okay, then they will have to address the rape. And if they address the rape, then they have to address that the military is not safe. And they can't do that because then there would be imminent guilt. They also talk about the PACT Act. And what the PACT Act is a new thing that was signed by Biden to help those who were suffering because they got exposed to chemical exposures, toxins and stuff when they were deployed in different areas and all that stuff. Now, this is something that military personnel, veterans, retirees have been fighting for a long time because they would go and try to get a disability claim for something and they were told that they don't have that. Okay, so the other thing that they're trying to figure out, they did not plan for people to live this long. They did not think their veterans were going to live as long as they're living. They're saying that the VA healthcare dollars are really spent on the people who are 65 and over. And that's a huge problem because they did not plan for them to live as long as they're living. So they're cutting stuff because they had this new set of veterans, people like me, who are coming in and using the VA health system, but they still have the old veterans there using it. They thought I was going to be able to replace them and they can keep the cycle going. But us being here at the same time is causing a lot of financial problems. So while they're trying to cut costs, they're trying to figure out ways that they can do them. One is that they want to increase the number of patients that VA doctors see. They're saying right now they see about 6 patients per day. They want to increase that to a provider seeing 19 patients per day. Can you imagine your doctor saw 18 people before you? She's not. They also want to recruit retired physicians to serve veterans. Now, if this doctor is retired, I don't want him operating on me. They also talk about how they want to contract a lot of things out to speed up some processes and do a lot more automation while they're also cleaning house. They get to the human resource part and they're saying on day one, they want political control of the VA. He's going to do a lot of stuff on his first day. At the end of all the chapters in Project 2025, it says the author alone assumes responsibility for the content of this chapter and no views expressed should be attributed to any other individual. Like, at the end of the day, that's Brooks. Like, don't come over here with that noise. Brooks said that, even though it's in the book. So chapter 20 is not a huge concern as some of the other chapters. It's some fucked up shit in here. But if you're a veteran, let me know. Happy Veterans Day. This is a long video, but this is a lot of information. And yeah, bye from a Black woman.